Hello everybody, how is it going? So today we got some more preliminary tournaments. Here's Perona's hand real quick. Suru, 10 drop Dofi, brand new, Virgo, and an X-Drake. But yeah, we have Perona versus Sakazuki. This is the finals of, I believe, this preliminary tournament. I'm gonna have to check the location because I'm not exactly sure, but it'll be in the title and stuff. But yeah, it is Perona versus Sakazuki. And this tournament honestly got me really excited for OP06 because it just added another deck that I'm excited for. Quickly, here is Sakazuki's hand. He has two 4-drop Borsalinos, a Lucci, and that's Ice Age, right? And a new spell that is, it looks like the art from Saba Odi with Borsalino and Rayleigh. But I believe it like bottom decks 2 1 cost or 1 cost and a 2 cost. Not exactly sure. I'll have to check that, but yeah, here is the matchup. But yeah, it got me excited for OP06 because I like when green is good. Green is one of my favorite colors, so I'm happy to see Perona doing stuff. That's awesome. But we should be hopping in real quick. I believe, yep, Sakazuki is going first. Probably is just going to cycle a card and pass. Looks like he's getting rid of one of the new cards. And we'll draw a card. Finds a Rebecca. That card's pretty good. Passing over to Perona. But yeah, I really just think that Perona's card pool is really cool. At least like the main engines you play in the deck, which is Navy and the Don Quixote Pirates. Virgo is a pretty cool synergy as it can be added off brand new and Baby 5, so that's pretty cool. But Perona starting off with a brand new, grabbing a Borsalino and passing it over. Also, just like Perona's leader ability is like similar to Sakazuki's in a way that it's very generic, and I think it's just two very powerful effects. We're just resting a 4 cost or lower for free, or I believe reducing a cost by 2. Both, you don't have to pay anything for. You just activate leader, and you get it, which is really good, honestly. But yeah, we see X-Drake in Perona's hand, which I think is a very, very strong card in this deck, as you are given access to cost reduction and just always able to rest a 4 cost, which is what X-Drake will already be hitting, so that's very good. Sakazuki turn 2 just swinging for 8. Perona will take the life, get the Sabo, which is going to be very solid in this matchup, as well as the 4-drop Borsalino, just forcing Sakazuki to have the blue form of removal. But for Perona's end, she won't have access to the Hound's Blaze, the new card that bottoms 2 cards. So I guess that's kind of supplemented by just being able to rest stuff. And then as we see later on, he does have 10 Dofi, so that will probably be very strong in this matchup. Kind of puts Sakazuki on having Ice Age, plus a couple other cards to actually even think about outing the Dofi. So card will be very solid. Also kind of stunts aggression, so it doesn't really give you that kind of out unless your opponent's on like 1 or 0 life. So, yeah, card seems very good into this matchup. Sakazuki on 5 Dawn. Honestly, the plays all seem kind of meh, but he's going to cycle a Lucci, find a brand new. He could Lucci, but he has to spend an Ice Age to hit the Kuzan. So that feels kind of bad, especially when your opponent is on actual top end. So probably don't really want to do that. It's just going to swing 6. So maybe he'll just play a Borsalino, as Rebecca doesn't really have any great targets to add back, especially if he doesn't really want to Lucci that much in this matchup. So I'd imagine we're going to see a Borsalino. Yep, swinging for 6, Perona will counter, and we'll play down that Borsalino and pass it over. Another cool thing, or at least that was a good play, because if you know about X-Drake, this would be Perona's X-Drake turn, and Borsalino does not care about X-Drake, so that is pretty solid. But a 6 Dawn turn, we really don't play many 6 costs. That's something to think about, actually. I feel like there's so few like 6 cost cards that we play in a lot of decks. They played the 6 cost vanilla and like kind of Curry for a while, the Parasparrow, because of Whitebeard. And like Whitebeard is back, but he just isn't that great into the meta, so I feel like that kind of fell off. And like outside of that, I'm trying to think of like good 6-cost cards, and I feel like they're very rare. Perona tapping the Borsellino with their leader, and then just going in for 5 with the Kuzan. I imagine you're definitely countering one of these hits, whether it be from leader or Kuzan. But the next hit might be a bit harder to counter, depending on what they're gonna do with their Dawn. But kind of random thing. I know this is OP06, and we did pretty recently enter OP05. So yeah. Also, I'm starting this tournament with the finals, which I don't normally do for these, but I don't know, I was kind of hyped about Perona, so I wanted to check out the finals. But yeah, I know OP05 was very recent, and you know, we're just finally getting that meta. I'm like iffy about it so far, but obviously I'm gonna keep playing it and see how it goes. I'm a little bit annoyed with not being able to, not that I'm not able to play Red Green Law. It's just pretty hard to do so in the meta. Sakazuki is beatable, but it's just hard. You need to just see the right cards and maybe hope your opponent doesn't have 4 Luccis. But yeah, you know, that's just kind of how I feel right now. I think I am just gonna start playing a bunch of Red Green Law and just see how I feel more. Just a lot of the new decks don't really entice me. Like maybe Sakazuki, but I also just really don't want to play Sakazuki. So that's where I'm at with the current meta. But we're taking a look into the future meta, because that's what we love to do. We love new stuff. But Perona playing down that Sabo, which is always going to be a strong play in kind of like the Black Mirror match, because it kind of turns off all the KO removals. Again, puts Sakazuki on have the blue removal. So yup. Also, I'm curious if Sakazuki is still playing 7-drop Borsellino. I feel like he cycled quite a bit and hasn't seen one, so he might not be playing it. Maybe that's replaced by the Gecko. If you guys don't know about the 8-drop Gecko Moria, it's pretty much on play. You bring back a 4-cost, and or I think it's a 4-cost or lower and a 2-cost or lower from the graveyard. The 4-cost or higher, or lower, sorry, I think is active, and then the lower one is rested. So a very strong effect. Could bring back like a brand new, or not, yeah, a brand new and like a Borsellino. Obviously the brand new would get the search, and then you'd have your Borsellino active for defense. Can do some other stuff like bring back Lucci, bring back Rebecca. A lot of cool plays with it. I know some people are playing the Helmeppo, which I think is a 2-cost that reduces something by 3. So that's pretty solid with the Gecko Moria. But yeah, just in case you guys did not know, if there are any new cards, I'll try to point them out. I think I already explained Perona's leader, so that is not a problem. Sakazuki gonna Ice Age the Sabo, and then use the new spell to bottom deck the Borsellino and the Sabo. So I'm gonna assume it's literally just Lucci effect, but it bottom decks instead of KOing, because he hit a 2-cost and a 0-cost. Yeah, I think I can see 2 and 1 in the little card text there, so I'm gonna go with that. I'm just gonna swing for 5, probably just reducing Kuzan to 3. Perona looking like gonna take the counter. He does. Sakazuki still has 4 Dawn, so it's looking maybe just like another Borsellino. Probably don't want a Rebecca yet. Still, your whole graveyard is just Lucci's right now, so I imagine Borsellino too, or maybe just search with the brand new. He's gonna look at his opponent's graveyard. Not sure exactly for what. Maybe wants to try to out the Kuzan with the Borsellino swing. That's a possibility. I think he has 2 brand news, so could also just play double brand new, which is funny. Yeah, does swing 7 with the Borsellino into the Kuzan. Interesting. I don't think Sakazuki is playing much top end, and that normally is what Kuzan is good into. But still, you don't, as Sakazuki, you know, your kind of your main goal every turn is to just clear your opponent's board. So if you don't have a direct answer to the Kuzan because of the Sabo being played, I understand just like swinging bigger into it to try to get rid of it. And then does finish his turn with a brand new. Found another Ice Age. I imagine we pick that up because, again, we know Perona's playing 10 drops, so could be helpful. Also, don't really want to add a Hina, I don't think, especially when we have a Rebecca in hand. So next turn, Perona's at 8 Dawn. Nothing like great to do in hand right now. Maybe you want to get a Borsellino down. Play an X-Drake. It's not going to really hit anything unless you tap not a Borsellino, a brand new. But that still feels pretty bad, so for now I assume we're just playing Borsellino and maybe making a bigger attack because our opponent won't have a blocker up. Checking the graveyard again. Just a little bit of thinking. I'm curious why he's deciding. I don't know. I think it's always Ice Age. And the Hinas are bonuses because you want them in grave, because your grave kind of has nothing right now. Let's see. Also, he has 3 Borsellinos in hand, 1 on board. He has seen all of his Borsellinos. This like matchup is also interesting just because I don't know. I think Perona's leader ability like might be stronger than Sakazuki's, but Sakazuki does get filter, which is strong in itself, so there's definitely a debate there. I don't know. Sakazuki is able to just always reduce something, but so can Perona. But I feel like more time than not, you just want to rest something with Perona's leader ability. Especially like in this scenario, obviously, you can't KO the Borsellino, so there'd be no point in reducing it. You could tap the brand new just to clear the body, but it's gonna swing 8 at the Borsellino. At least asking for 2 cards. Sakazuki does have a ton of cards in hand, but I don't think he has a 2K. So yeah, that's probably just gonna go. And then Perona gonna play Sabo, get a little bit more cycle in. Sees, I think, a brand new and the 0 cost event, which is pretty good. I imagine the deck does play a decent amount of non-counter with the, I know there's a new 4-drop, that's Thriller Bark, which it either KOs something or like rests something. I'm not exactly sure. I need to read over the card, but looks like he's already going to discard a brand new. Maybe the Drake gets discarded because it's not going to do a ton for now, at least. Yeah, that is what he discards. And then just passing it over. So now Sakazuki on 9 Dawn. Could play the Gecko. The Grave isn't super set up to really play him efficiently, though. We can kind of just bring back a Borsellino. I don't think he has a brand new in there. I think it's 3 Luccis, 2 events, and then 2 Hinas, 1 Borsellino. So yeah, definitely not the best targets for the Gecko. It also doesn't have a bottom deck for the Sabo, which could be very important. Does have the greater option for an extra cycle along with his leader, so he could see 2 more cards right now. Also has the brand new, which could find him Hound's Blaze or something. So could find answers to the Sabo. Perona looking at his graveyard. Probably just check in what he actually has for Rebecca in there, which is fair. I'm curious if Perona plays Rebecca. I don't think they do. Rebecca is a really good card though, but I don't think he's playing the Lucci package, which is normally, you know, Lucci, Hina, and Rebecca. I don't think he's playing that. Probably just more of the new Thriller Bark cards, which are pretty solid. And the Perona 2K is good. I don't know if you're going to be playing the other ones like Absalom. Probably not. Probably still going to play Gecko because that card's really good. The 8-drop. And yeah, I guess that would be the normal curve of Perona on 8 Dawn, playing Gecko, and then 10 Dawn is just 10-drop. So yeah, just didn't have access to the 8-drop there. I don't think they have a Searcher yet, right? Because like Moria's whole thing, at least with the mono black Moria deck, you mill stuff, so that's kind of your way of finding things. They have a 1-drop that mills 5, and then your leader mills 2, along with you discarding every turn, so that's kind of their way to find consistency. But I don't think Perona really has a way to consistently access the Thriller Bark cards, which is a bit unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, Rebecca, add back Hina, play out the Hina, and then he did find a Hound's Blaze. I was talking right through that. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Looks like he boosted the brand new, so he can go like 7/7 here, which would be a good amount of aggression. we know Perona's on her, or his, yeah, I don't know. Their 10 Dawn turn next turn, which, yeah, 10 drop Dofi is imminent. It will happen. But decides to go 6 and 6, so only ends up taking 1 life there. That probably would have been the outcome if you went 7-7, because you probably don't want to go down to 1 if your game plan is to drop a bunch of top end. So, yeah. So yeah, Brand News picks up, what do you pick up there? Another Hina, and then just passes. I wonder what Perona will do. Take your bets. 10 drop or nah. It's just always 10 drop here, right? I mean, the threats outside of what you freeze are a Brand New and a Rebecca. So Rebecca really just isn't a threat, and Brand New could, like, swing for 5, I guess, if you really wanted to. Maybe swing a bit over if you have actually nothing to do, but that seems pretty negligible into, you know, your opponent that has 2 life. Okay, no, we're actually resting the Rebecca. That's really good, actually. Probably gonna just clear the Brand New or the Rebecca, either one. Or you can just go life and say whatever. I kind of like just going life too, because you aren't really that threatened. You have a lot of cards in hand. He has 2 of the 0 cost event spell, so he knows whatever cards don't have counter technically do have counter. See, I think he went life. It gets countered out with the Borsellino. Then he's going to freeze probably the Rebecca, the Hina, and his leader. Yep, letting the Brand New rock. That's fair. Taking away that blocker is really strong because they're on 1 life now, and you have a 10k body on board. So that gets a little bit scary if you're the Sakazuki player. Plus, if you all your blockers in Sakazuki, I believe, are 4 costs, so they all get hit by Perona leader. So you really need to play 2 blockers here if you want to survive, or you just need to out this 10 drop, which he can do because he has a Hina and a. He has Hina, he has Great Eruption, and he has Ice Age. So he just needs an efficient way to actually pop it. If he goes Ice Age into Great Eruption, what is it? It's a 3 cost then, and yeah, he doesn't have Leader Swing, so he can't get it to 2, which means he can't Lucci it with the Gecko. So yeah, that's rough. That's rough. Could just try cycling first. Maybe see if you find another Ice Age, or just like a Hound's Blaze. Because you could definitely just bottom it with the Hound's Blaze. So it's going to pay 1. Oh no, he's cycling the Ice Age. Very interesting. So not even gonna try to out the Dofi? Unless he has an out that I'm just not seeing. Hina would bring it to a 6 cost, Great Eruption would bring it to a 4 cost. And yeah, you don't have an out unless Great Eruption finds you something. Okay, so is gonna play the Great Eruption, at least thinking about it. I imagine you do, because if not, your failsafe is just playing double Borsellino and just walling up. But you're still in a really bad spot, because that means you didn't answer their board that turn. If they have another 10 drop, it just gets worse, so yeah. Does play the Great Eruption and finds a Rebecca. Rebecca could bring back Hina. So Dofi's at an 8 cost right now. Could put it to a 6 cost with the Rebecca. But I still don't see a way we actually remove the Dofi. I don't think it can be done. Unless, what could Gecko bring back? Maybe it can be done, and I'm just bugging. He has a Lucci in Graveyard, but he'd need, I think, 1 more cost reduction. After this, what is he playing here? Okay, play Suru. So now it's a 6 cost. Can he get it down to a 2 cost? Plays Rebecca. Brings back out. Oh, adds back Lucci. Okay. Sacks off the Brand New for a. Oh, wait, yeah. Rebecca just cheats that out. Okay, so now it's at no cost, and the Lucci will hit it. Okay, yeah, I'm just dumb. The Rebecca was a good draw, though, to be completely fair. He did not have access to that before, so yep, you gotta be happy about that. Also, playing the Suru does feel a little bit bad. You just spent a lot of cards actually outing the Dofi, but to be fair, it's a 10 drop, so That's just what's gonna happen when you try to out a 10 drop. And I imagine Perona is gonna just play another one. Still being at 2 life, still having a lot of cards in hand, plenty of counter power. Has 2 2Ks right now, 2 0 cost events, and 2 1Ks, and you're gonna play the Dofi, so yeah, you're only really gonna deal with maybe like 2 5Ks and a 6K attacker, and I don't think you can ever get mathed out with the amount of counter he has in hand. So yeah, he should be completely fine. Probably wants to rest the Rebecca or freeze both Rebeccas again, just to have the pressure on Sakazuki. So he's probably going to tap the Rebecca, attack for 5, which will just trade for another card, because you can't really take a 5K in this spot. And then just drop another 10 Dofi. You should be fine. Should be in a very good spot, actually. See, this 5K kind of just has to be met with the Porcelino, unless you're going to try to commit to ending the game next turn. But if half your board gets frozen, I don't think you can do that. So, yep, here comes the Dofi. Probably will freeze both Rebecca's and Leader, because it cuts off the ability for Leader to reduce something by 1. Once again, making it very hard to out the 10 drop. Accidentally read stands Leader, but yeah, quickly is fixed. Let's see what he top decks. Finds a Virgo. Probably wants to cycle one of the Geckos, because you don't really have room to play a Gecko. Yup. Let's see what he draws. Finds another Hina. Alright, surely there's no way this time that he can out this Dofi, because he can only bring it to a 6 cost, and I don't think he has Helmeppo. And even if he did, it'd only bring it to a 3 cost, so Lucci wouldn't be able to pop it. Yup, that's rough. It's looking very good for Perona right now. And he'd also need like 2 blockers to actually survive this once again, just because of Perona Leader ability. It's looking really, really strong in this spot. I think you just have to go for game, because I mean, like, what do? You can't answer this 10 drop. You do have 3 attacks, your opponent has 2 life, so if everything connects, you can get it. But I think he knows that his opponent has the counter power. It's pretty unlikely he doesn't. I'm not sure what he knows he added. I don't think he knows much in hand. Maybe he knows the Suru, but I don't think so. So he's going to commit 2 Dawn to the Lucci and attack for 8. I feel like in this spot, you almost just swing 7, right? I don't know. It's so hard, because like you probably just assume your opponent has enough counter. But if you swing 7 and they like greedily take it, maybe you can like maybe go for game. But I don't know. Answering 7 is so easy. It's just a bad spot for Sakazuki. And I think he knows it's just a bad spot. If he had some bigger bodies, maybe it was possible, but I don't think so. Looks like he's just going to go 9, which means that Perona can just safely take this. Even if it's like a Hound's Blaze, he gets up to what? If it's 2 Hound's Blazes, he gets up to 11, and I still think he has 11,000 worth of counter power to get out of this. So, yeah. Playing the Porcelino just isn't even an option because of Perona Leader. So yeah, Perona has pretty much has this game in the bag, unless Sakazuki gets a Beji trigger off of life or something like that. Let's see, yep, takes the life. He also got a 2K for the first one, and I don't think that card has any counter. That's the Thriller Bark card I was talking about earlier. So yeah, he's going to use the Doflamingo 0 cost event, discarding the new guy. It's like the swordsman from Thriller Bark. I just can't think of his name. And a 2K. And then Sakazuki will pass. And it's looking like a pretty easy lethal. Draws another 10 drop, though, if he wants to just do that for fun. Could stall the game and lose because of it. That's always a play. Let me stop. Alright, gonna swing 12 with Dofi. And that just means the remaining 8 Dawn will be 13. So, should be just game. Yep. There we go. Perona winning the finals. Winning a preliminary tournament. That's awesome. Happy to see a new deck doing well. I think so far, Reiju has seen success. Perona now. Yamato in the beginning, I think, won a preliminary. Who else came out in this set? It was Gecko. I know Gecko is just very popular in this meta, so I imagine if he hasn't already, he will eventually get a win. Who else? Man, they're all escaping me right now. Am I missing? I said Yamato, Gecko, Perona, Reiju, Uta, and what's the last one? Man. Hody. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll do good eventually. I don't know. I feel like they're a little bit underexplored compared to the other decks in the format. So, I mean, maybe they'll get a win as well. But, yeah, that is the end of the match. I guess we can talk for a second. 3,000 subscribers. That's awesome. Y'all are great. Can't appreciate you guys enough. Also, I recently got a camera with a little bit of support from the holiday money. And I'm going to try to just be recording more at locals. You know, getting some matches from there. Maybe make like a little vlog out of going to locals. Might be fun. We'll see. But yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.